All right, now to the other major story that we're tracking. Russian security officials say at least 40 people are dead and more than 100 are wounded following an attack at a concert hall in Moscow. ISIS-K has claimed responsibility for the attack in a statement posted to social media. Several gunmen burst in and shot at audience members in the crowd. Witnesses say the attackers also threw explosives, triggering a massive fire at the venue. The UN Security Council is condemning the attack, calling it heinous and cowardly. Journalist William Denslow has been tracking the latest for us. So, William, what do we know about this attack and what is the latest right now?
Well, what we're learning is a little bit more information into the intelligence and whether officials, especially in places like the United States, knew that a potential terrorist attack was in the works. It's important to note that even before the Russian elections a little earlier this month had posted on their websites a warning, both the US and UK embassies warning of the potential of a terrorist attack in Russia. We're now hearing from US officials saying that as of March, they were growing concerned about State Khorasan, also known as ISIS-K, that's the IS branch based in Afghanistan, that they could have been preparing to mount an attack inside Russia. According to security experts, they believe that ISIS-K's motivations are largely and likely fueled by Russian engagement in a number of regions, including Afghanistan itself, Chechnya, as well as its involvement in Syria's civil war over recent years. We're also understanding, according to US officials, that the US did tell Russian officials about this security threat, at least privately. This is known as an international agreement between nations as the duty to warn. What we don't know is just how extensive those warnings were.
And William, what's the reaction been like so far?
Well, you've mentioned a little bit of the reaction. There's been a flurry of it coming through. Let's start with the United Nations here in New York. We've heard from a spokesperson, Farhan Haq, representing the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, saying that the Secretary General sends his deepest condolences to the families impacted and condemns this attack in the strongest terms. That was a sentiment very much reiterated by the 15 members of the UN Security Council in a statement, as you said, describing it as heinous, saying they share their deepest sympathy. They said that those responsible need to be held accountable. Importantly as well, and significantly, we've heard from Mihailo Podolak, who is an advisor to Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, that dismissed that there is any Ukrainian responsibility. He says that any fights that Ukraine have with Russia will be settled on the battlefield. That was a point that's been reiterated by White House spokespeople that say that they believe there is no indication of any kind of Ukrainian involvement. And importantly as well, we've also heard from Maria Zakharova, the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, who described this as a monstrous crime.
All right, William, appreciate that update. That is journalist William Denslow in New York City.